First thing I ask everybody, just so we have, like no excuse to screw it up later, is if you could say and spell your name, and then I ask everybody how old they are as well.
Sure.
So how do you spell your name?
Lisa, Lisa, Barker, Barker.
Okay. And then how old are you?
I am 56.
56. And then you're born and raised in Portland.
I am,
Okay.
yes.
And you told me you've had a couple of like sort of gigs that you've had professionally. What have you done? You said you used to decorate wedding cakes.
I decorated wedding cakes. I was a dental assistant, and I've been on disability. I want to go back to being at least part-time dental assistant again, or lab technician. So,
How recently did something happen that made it tough for you to do that?
2010 I became disabled, and 2017 I quit temping and working because it was just really hard for me to manipulate my hands and my instruments, because I love dental assisting and that's my trade, and I really want to get back to that.
Okay. Can I ask what caused that, or what happened?
I just lost a lot of feeling in my hands. I have a hand and wrist battle condition, so it's probably from growing up on a wonderful, beautiful horse ranch when I was a kid, pulling back on the horses' reins, throwing bales at, doing things that you don't think about are going to damage you when you get a little older.
Okay, let me really quick. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna double check. I hear like okie dokie. Okay, so I apologize. Could you explain for people who don't know what that condition that you have is?
It's just numbing. It's where my hands go to sleep and I have no feeling, or like if I'm laying down sleeping, if I have my hands above my head, I lose feeling. My hands get tingly and the whole thing my whole arm goes dead now. So it's just not feeling parts like my tips, my fingertips. I can't feel really good at anything. Yeah, it's just kind of I don't know. I had to learn pretty much myself. I had no idea. I thought it was kind of normal growing up as a kid on the farm. You just kind of grinned and bared it. I'm kind of glad that I grew up that way, because it's kind of helped me get through this.
Yeah, if it had come on as an adult,
yeah,
that would have been really frustrating.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah. Has it gotten worse since you've been an adult? Or?
No, it's pretty much stayed the same. Yeah, I just know now what I can and can't do, like not put my hands above my head and fall asleep like I can't do that, which is kind of a bummer because I like doing that. But I learned not to do that. Unless I want to pick up, it feels like somebody else's arm, and pick it up off of me. It's really eerie feeling. It's weird.
Yeah. And so how did that lead to, it sounded like that was the main factor that resulted in you being houseless. You said you had trouble paying your rent.
How did it lead to, I'm sorry?
You becoming houseless, having to stay in your friend's tents.
Well, it put me in a position where I became disabled, and then they raised the rent about $300. And, well, I think they saw it as, we'll rent somebody from California, slap some paint on it, and bam, pretty much. And that's pretty much what happened. I was there for 23 years in my apartment. Never had a complaint, never had a problem, never been late on my rent ever before. And I was in the hospital, actually, when I got slapped a late charge, because I thought my husband paid the rent. He thought I paid the rent. And he was on a bicycle accident, flat on his back, and I was flat on my back in the hospital. And so we got slapped all these late charges, like almost $500 in late charges. And I don't have any family here. I don't have, I'm definitely not going to ask a friend for money. So here I am, basically.
How long ago was that?
It's been almost a year. And I'm on my way out. Hopefully I can get into Blackburn and crawl my way out of this, get a job long term, and get out of this. I don't want to. It was a woozy of an experience, but I don't ever want to be here again. I've been treated like a second-hand citizen, and I don't want to be that. Yeah.
There was an accident at that time too. Your husband was in a.
Oh, he was right. Yeah, he was riding his bicycle, and he hit an SUV, bam, head on, and almost broke his back. So he was literally flat on his back at home, and I was in the hospital at the time, and we each thought each other paid the rent, and for the first time we were late for the first time ever, and I was there for 23 years in that apartment, and got slapped almost $500 worth of late charges.
And I apologize, did you say that you were on your back in the hospital too? What
And
happened to you?
I was just so sick. Just ran down, and I worked like 6 days a week, 16 hours a day. I was really burnt out.
Yeah.
Just work.
Yeah.
And then being disabled, trying to fight that I was disabled and not being able to, feel my hands and do the jobs I like to do, was kind of like a wake-up call. I was like,
Yeah. So how did you find your way to that tent on that property?
actually, going over to see a friend of ours, and my husband happened to be there because I was supposed to meet him there, and he was there, and they were both in their sleeping bags, fast asleep. And I had just smoked a cigarette and put it out, and I was right in between them, fall asleep, and I heard this screech and all this gravel, and boom, this car was right on me. I'll never forget it. It was just like bam, that quick. Like I said, the Wizard of Oz when the house came down on the witch. It was pretty weird.
So you were in the tent, so you didn't see it coming.
Right? Yeah, I had no idea, and all of a sudden there was headlights in my face from the car that landed on me, and the door was just tattered, just ripped up. And my friend goes, "My door," and I said, "My legs." How about you, a new tent?
How many people were in the tent? It was
3. It was a 2-man tent, but I'm pretty little. My husband's pretty little, so we both would make one.
I mean, you said my legs, and then what do you remember?
Oh, I remember my husband yelling, "Lisa, Lisa, are you okay?" And it sounded really like a tin can, and I think that might have been going into shock because it was like, ooh, and I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? And all I could feel is this excruciating, just pain, just so much pain. And I'm thinking, and then I remember the car just ripping off of me and going away, and she was like a half a block from where she hit me. And I'm wondering why was she half a block. I think like we discussed before, I think she was not done with her mission.
So you thought she was going to take off.
Yeah.
And here you are lying there
Yeah.
in excruciating pain.
Yeah, it just didn't seem very heartfelt. That, "Are you okay?" when I'm screaming in pain. No, can you call 911? I had to ask her and beg her, my husband, my friend, and I, call 911, please call 911, because we didn't have a phone and on us. And she had a phone. She had a phone in her hand. She's just saying, "Is everybody okay?" And I think my friend, her husband, yelled, "Does it sound like it?" Because I was just screaming because it hurt so bad. I mean, I was in a lot of pain. A lot of pain.
So she says, "Are you okay?" And then did she drive away?
She just kind of disappeared because I was still inside the tent. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. There's no way I could, because they literally had to drag me. The paramedics had to drag me out of the tent and put me on the board and put me in the ambulance because I couldn't have walked if I wanted to. My leg was floppy and the bone was sticking out. There was no way I could have walked. So I was like stuck in the tent until they pulled me out,
What were you thinking at that moment? I mean,
What
was
happened?
happening?
What just happened? It scared me. But I pretty much stayed in control, except for the pain. I was probably crying a little loud, but for the most part, I tried to stay in control.
You've been in that tent, you said, for how long?
Probably 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes.
Does that ever, that's such, like, the timing of it.
I know. That's what it says, it's like a freak accident. It's just weird. It was really strange. I was thinking, wow, if I would have took the long way there on my bicycle, I could have been. But then again, I think I'm almost certain that I was made to take that because I don't think my husband or my friend could have taken the pace. I'm serious.
Is that like a male-female thing, or is that like
No, actually, my husband, even say he thinks the women are the dominant of the two species because we have babies. We take a lot of pain. We are women. Here's Roar. Everybody had that right?
I'm gonna widen this out just a little bit here.
And I am going to take a drink.
Oh, go ahead.
I have to crack myself up once in a while.
You're good at it. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, they moved me around to all these. I've been moved around 4 times now.
Here?
Yeah,
In the hospital?
yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think a lot of it's due to space, maybe. But it's always been a great room. It's been nice and roomy and cozy. Everybody's been so nice. The love of everybody has just been unbelievable to me.
Yeah. So can you list your injuries?
What? I'm sorry.
What are your injuries?
I have a titanium rod from underneath my knee all the way down to my ankle, and 2 big old pins about the size of that. Doing exactly this with bolts and pins, or bolts and screws, I guess. And then, and I can't bear any weight on this left leg at all. On my right leg, my toes broke, my foot is broke, so it has to take the weight because I'll just be bedbound, and so I have to put the weight on that. And then I have I call them Frankenstein / Marilyn Manson boots that I have to wear, for getting around if I'm out of the bed, so I don't further injure myself. So it's going to be a long haul. I got my wheelchair, my walker yesterday evening. I learned how to get around in both of those.
Has that been tough?
Huh?
Has that been hard?
Oh yeah. I would rather walk, absolutely, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna have some arms on me when I get done with this route.
Your friend, I don't think it was your husband, I think it was your friend, thought that you might have had some internal injuries when this first happened.
Yeah.
Did you?
I was worried I was too, because it was like, no, I didn't. But it was like I was in a accordion. It was just, that car hit me, and it was like, it just pushed everything. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have hip problems and back problems, because I already do have back problems. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I hope it didn't further it. And I was worried about my neck and stuff. But so far, okay, it's pretty located in my legs, which is bad enough, because I don't know, it's going to be a long haul. To be able to walk again, but I'm determined to make that happen.
He was worried about, he thought like your lungs, like organs were damaged.
Yeah, it was so fast when it happened. It seemed like the car, because I'm not very tall, I'm only 5'1", so it probably seemed like the car was engulfed in me, or vice versa. I don't know how you put that, but so yeah, it would probably seem like the car was like right on, because it was like bam, right on me. I remember the headlights right in my eyes. It seemed like the headlights were right in my eyes. And that's the only thing I knew. I said, what just happened? What just happened? My husband said, a car landed on you, Lisa. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking in my brain, okay, that makes sense, It doesn't make sense, but it made sense to what just went down, the big boom, and the noise I heard before that, the screeching. It was definitely a car trying to slow way down. Trying to make that turn to get on the on-ramp, and it was way too fast.
Had you ever had cars, camping there next to the on-ramp,
No.
seem out of control or freak you guys out the way they were driving?
I've had people be kind of ornery, kind of act like they swerve, and yeah.
Seemingly on purpose?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And a few nasty things said to me, out the window, driving by, hurtful things,
Like what?
Get out of town, or take your kind out of town. I'm like, my kind? Give me a ride. Get me a ride out of town, or get a job. It's like, I guarantee you, I'll be nice. It was very hurtful things like that. It's like, I would yell back, give me a job, or, let me get a shower so I can get a job, I didn't sign up for this. You know, it's just one of these things life has thrown at me. I didn't stand in line in any way to be here. Such just hurtful things. And so coming to this hospital has uplifted me so much. The love and empathy of people has like really made me want to get up and out and understand that Portland, Oregon still is full of empathy and love, and makes me proud to be born and raised here. When I was feeling like I was ashamed to be, I'm no longer ashamed to be. It was just a real quick moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been staying on that property for how long? Like,
Geez, which is really weird. My friend just moved there like probably 2 days there. And yeah, and I just happened to be there 15, 20 minutes before that car landed right on me.
where had you guys been staying, or where had he been staying prior?
On my feet, basically. We were staying on, I think, 96 and right before 99th and Main on the left side. Trying to stay out of everybody's way, trying to keep everything clean and out of everybody's way. You know, just trying to survive.
And you've been staying, I apologize, I'm making you repeat some stuff. You've been staying outside for how long? Like,
almost a year, basically almost a year. I did have a $23,000 black Volkswagen Jetta, but I don't have that anymore either. It got hit, not by me, but it's no longer with me. It's no longer with me. So that's how I became, you know, like pretty much homeless out in view of people. I guarantee you I'll never go camping again.
you've had enough of camping.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely enough of camping.
The woman who hit you, for now, or last we heard anyway, and we're going to double check that it hasn't changed, but she was cited with reckless driving.
Right.
What do you think of that citation?
I think she should have been. I think she should have been charged with a little bit more, actually. I mean, if it was her family or her friend that was hit, I think that she would say the same thing.
What do you think of, I mean, the people who are making that decision? Like police who are supposed to protect everyone, and the DA, and...
I think it's basically because I was homeless. I really do.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I just basically, like I said about being treated as a second-hand citizen, that's how I've been treated. I can't use public restrooms. I can't, I can't even frequent the front of a store. If I buy something, I have to buy it, bam, out of there. I can't sit there and drink my coffee real quick, or I'm loitering. Just things like that. Things that I've never been thrown at, things in my face over is really hurtful.
Does this, I mean, my God, like, you list your injuries to me, and I keep thinking, like, reckless driving?
I know. You think, yeah, it could go a lot worse, I would think. Well, I know that it could.
I mean, does this feel like, it's like a new level? And if you think, like you said, like, if you think that it's because you're houseless,
I do.
it feels like a new level of...
Absolutely.
Like it could, I don't want to put words in your mouth, like it could be like a new level of sort of disregard.
Yeah, I totally agree, 110% with that. Yeah, that's how I would say it.
What would you tell the decision makers in that process?
I just wish that they would have stood back and looked at the whole picture and thought about if it was their child or their, relative, how they would have really made that decision. So.
On the other, like a third, sort of level of this is ODOT, who obviously owns all the properties that are next to our highways.
Right.
They're in charge of it. And they said, the spokesperson when you were hit was also almost crying in our interview. And he said, we feel so horrible. He said, this is the reason that we keep telling people that camping next to the highways is a really bad idea, because
Right.
people are speeding up and they lose control and what have you.
No, she was speeding. And
Yeah.
there's no doubt about that. I could have been not even, like I said, I don't even have a tent set up. So I was visiting my friend and happened to fall asleep there because my husband was asleep there. I could have just been walking across the street or walking along, ran out of gas, was walking down the freeway, and that could happen. It happened. So, it was just, and I hope I hope she did cry, because I really didn't think that she cared, because the way she acted when she asked if everybody's okay was really unremorseful. It was like, like she really didn't care. So I was surprised when you said that she was teary-eyed and stuff in the interview.
Well, I apologize. It wasn't her.
Oh.
We actually haven't talked to her. It was the spokesperson for the Oregon Department of Transportation.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Maybe
Yeah,
it
because it surprised me. Because she didn't seem that way at all.
Yeah, we're gonna reach out to her now. We didn't at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, that person who talks to us about highway safety, essentially.
Right.
He said, and he was the one who was almost crying, and he said, I feel so horrible. He said this is why. So I guess my question is, and you kind of just answered it, but I'm curious, some people might say, well, no one should have been camping on that property. That's why those properties need to be empty, because what if someone does lose control?
Right.
So what would you say to those people who say, well, maybe it's reckless driving because that piece of land was supposed to be empty?
Well, like I said, I could have been, she was speeding, and I could have been walking down the street, ran out of gas, or I could, it really, to me, that's not the point. And people do try to stay out of the way of that, but they get ran off properties like in the middle. I call it the field of dreams, living the American dream. It's right there on Division, the field. It's right in between 92nd and 94th and 96th, going eastbound. That big old field, and it's away from, and people got ran off of there. So, people really do try to stay out of people's way. And it's like, hey, if I could rent a backyard, I would.
You told me you were having nightmares.
Yeah, night terrors, yeah.
What do you dream about?
Reliving the accident, really bad. When I got hit, I hear the screeching and the gravel, and then boom, the car is on me. So and I wake up breathless, totally out of breath. So it's, pretty shaken up.
They even gave you medication for it.
Yeah, they still are giving me medication that helps me not have night terrors, which has been awesome. It's been working really well, thank gosh. It's not making me wake up totally out of breath like I was.
What's the path moving forward? Do you know how much longer you're here?
It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while. I don't know of any inside of me leaving the hospital right now. So, and when I do, I'll be going into another hospital that helps me be able to take care of myself until my wounds are healed and I'm able to walk. It's going to be a while. I'd say under a year.
Do you know where your husband is right now?
I don't. I have no way to get a hold of him.
That's really hard.
Yeah. But I have a friend I'm gonna call today. Hopefully, that'll reunite us.
Okay. Can I ask your husband's name?
Yeah, it's Carrie Barker.
Carrie Barker. Okay. How long have the two of you been married?
37 years we've been together.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Your friend, I know his name wasn't Carrie Barker, went back to that same spot with a new tent, within 12 hours of the crash. And he kind of said what you said of this is available, for the most part it's been really safe, minus what happened last night.
Yeah, there's been several people have put their tents there.
Yeah. Does that freak you out though, that people that you know are back there sleeping that night?
It does. I fear for their safety. I really do. It makes me get really concerned. Yeah, because like I said, there's just people that have acting like they're gonna hit you and, you know, playing that kind of chicken game with you is terrible because, you know, things happen and they happen quickly and not so much for the good. So,
Anything else about that night that I haven't asked you that you think is people should know?
just be really careful, be cautious. Know that not everybody has got their best interest for you, and that accidents do happen. Just be safe.
I think my last question, and I always say that, and then I think of one more,
That's
so
okay.
I annoy myself. You were talking with Tracy and me as I was setting up, and you said that you were surprised that people were asking how you were,
Right.
and you almost made me tear up just then.
Yeah.
Why?
Just because of being homeless and people looking down on me, really hurt me. I used to have a lot of things, but they're material things that I can get back. And just the empathy and love that was shown to me has made me just give it a second go. I love Portland. I always have loved Portland, born and raised, and I have a whole new way of looking at people. I'm not going to be judgmental as they are to me. So.
Is there anything else you can think of that you want to say just in general that I haven't asked you?
Love you, Portland, and thank you for all that have asked about me. Thank you so much.
Tracy, is there anything you can think of that you think is worthwhile? Okay. I'm going to get some video just like of basically of your injuries, if that's cool
Sure.
with you.
Yeah, that's fine.